Good afternoon from Japan. This is a train station, a couple of stops from my house. So it's a Wednesday afternoon, September 27th, and I'm just going to the onsen, or the hot spring. I haven't been here in a long time, probably 2 years, maybe 3 years actually. So it's in Japanese we say ohisashiburi, which means long time basically. So it's kind of down the street, or one of the streets. So yeah, this is kind of like typical street near a station. There's a lot of izakayas, which in Japanese means, I guess, bars. So a lot of workers, after they drop off the train, they go in here for an after-work drink. As you can see in there, they're preparing. So kind of like lots of yakitori, chicken on sticks, and just a chance to, I guess, let down their hair after a long day at work, which in Japan, as you know, one of the highest or the longest working hours in the world. There's another one. So people, I guess, need a chance to feel themselves again, maybe. So the izakaya is a very popular after work event. Yeah, so this is the main road, and then I'm gonna take a right down there to the hot spring. So this hot spring is actually, it has some water that comes from the mountain. So it's got a mix of like both natural mountain water and I guess just regular hot water that they pump in there. And it's quite big for an onsen. It's actually called a super sento, which means they have like several, I guess, bathing rooms you can enjoy. They have like a couple of jacuzzi kind of bubble bath type situations. But those are some of my favorites actually in that onsen. That's why I normally like to go there. And they're usually like not free, not available, so I normally wait in the neighboring kind of hot bath or hot bathtub, and then usually some little grandma, Japanese grandma, feels sorry for me, so they're like, oh, would you like to come here? So I'm like, yes please, and then they give up their bath for me, so that's very nice. So yeah, I'm just waiting to cross. This is kind of a big intersection. This is called Kita Urawa, so Northern Urawa. So this is Urawa City, which is kind of the main city in Saitama City, where I live. So a lot of like city government stuff is here, and it's very popular place to come to. I actually ended up going the wrong way, so I'm gonna have to walk back. I realized I came to the big department store, which is not where the onsen is. Yeah, so this is kind of the view. As you can see, there's lots of little eateries around. I guess it's sort of just after school time, so there's lots of school kids going home or going to juku, which means cram school. So this area has tons and tons of cram schools, so the poor kids are just straight from school straight into a cram school, which is basically private classes where they get extra tuition in various subjects, especially for the junior high and high school kids, because they have entrance exams for various, junior high school kids have entrance exams if they want to go to like a private or very good public school, high school, and then high school students have all the huge, entrance exams for university. So that's why the cram schools are so huge in Japan. And in this area, Urawa has some of the best schools, I think, even outside of, I think even including Tokyo. So like Urawa High School is one of the best high schools in, I think, this whole region, the Kanto region. So even people who live in Tokyo and the neighboring prefectures would apply for schools in Saitama City or Saitama Prefecture in general. So yeah, I worked for the Saitama City Board of Education for 4 years. Their English education topics or the level of the English teaching is pretty high. They have their own English program, so they basically don't follow the government's curriculum. But I don't really, I kind of think that the level is too high for the kids. I think it kind of asks too much of the kids at a very young age, and then after a while it's very repetitive, the curriculum. It doesn't really get refreshed very regularly, so after a while it was kind of not very challenging to teach. And I think for the kids too, they kind of learn the same sentence for 4 years. I like potatoes, how about you? So after a while you're like, oh my goodness, they need to have more vocabulary to get on in the world in English. So anyway, this is the street now where the onsen is, and I'm gonna get there soon. So it's down this residential road. There's not much of a sidewalk on this side, so I think I need to cross over. And the moms and dads, I guess, cycling right by me. So yeah, this is the kind of the view from Saitama City, Japan. Yokoso. I'm so glad that Japan is opening finally to the rest of the world after almost 3 years. It's unbelievable. I think it's one of the last countries to reopen. So from October, I think it's October 11th, you can now come to Japan without having to have, a special visa or applying to come with a tour company. So just as before COVID, this is how it's going back to. It's reverting back to pre-COVID days. So I'm so excited because I think I'll get to see some of my friends soon. Japan is a great place to visit. To live is a whole other kettle of fish. It's a whole different story, but to visit is very nice. I came twice as a visitor, in 2012 and 2013. My first ever time to Japan was September 2012, and I had no idea what to expect. But it was a very good experience actually, because I was hosted by some really lovely friends. So I didn't even, stay in like guest houses or anything like that. It was just amazing. Because usually Japanese people don't invite you into their house, especially if they don't know you. So for 3 weeks, pretty much I was hosted by different Japanese families. So that was very great introduction, very nice experience. And then I came again in 2013, and I was down in western Japan, a place called Wakayama, Shirahama Prefecture. So if you like swimming, the beach, Shirahama is a very beautiful beach town, and it has some really stunning cliffs that sadly many people come to jump. As you know, suicide is really high in Japan, and there's these suicide hotspots, sadly. So I went there because there's a really amazing Japanese man who is a pastor, Christian pastor, and he does suicide prevention work from his church, which is just a few minutes drive from those cliffs. So I was really deeply moved by a talk I heard that he gave in Seattle, Washington. I went to a conference in February 2013. He came just literally for a day. He flew back to Japan the very next day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to talk more to this guy. And my Japanese was non-existent back then, and he didn't reply back to me. So I just came pretty much to track him down in December 2013 with the help of a Japanese friend. She borrowed her dad's car. She drove me down to his town and we tracked him down, and he said, yeah, you should come to Japan because Japanese people really, you know, they open up their hearts to non-Japanese, which I found so shocking. So many Japanese friends confirmed with me that they usually wouldn't tell their heart issues to even their best friends or family because they don't want to make trouble. Miwakusuru, they don't want to do that. They want to keep harmony. So they bottle in their issues and then, you know, it blows up at some point, right? You know, you got to have a place or space or people to share your struggles with. So when I asked this pastor, you know, but I look very different, you know. Would Japanese people talk to me about their issues? And he said, because you're different, they will talk to you. So please come. Yeah, so that was basically the main reason I came. And yeah. So anyway, I've arrived at the onsen. So onsen is one of my ways to relax if I'm feeling a little bit, I need to de-stress or whatever. It's been a long week. There's a lot of things I need to think about. I just come here and switch off for a couple of hours. That's what it looks like. It's a very nice day today also. So yeah, I'll be here for the next couple of hours enjoying. There's also a cafe, restaurant here. So I brought a book to read and music to listen to. Oh, these signs are so cute. Japan has the cutest little signs like, shh, be quiet. Yeah, so here I am. Can't wait. See you soon. Bye from Saitama, Japan.